I really don't know how to start this. So I have slight autism. Recently found that out, and also ADHD, and that kind of makes sense. Throughout my life, people asked, like my family members, that if I had the Tism, and then also my mom said that I thought differently from other people, and like she knew that. And then my dad, he just kind of thought I was normal, but that's mostly because he was just like he was like the one that raised me. So even then, it's definitely like eye opening, and you like now I tend to like notice everything that I did, especially like around dating, and you can probably like tell now that I do like fidget with my hands a lot, so I have to kind of keep moving and stuff. It's definitely a challenge. I just never notice it. If you know like something about ADHD, people that have ADHD is that like we take these monumental moments, and like if for me it doesn't feel monumental at all. It just kind of feels like I'm just walking through, right? Like some people get excited in the like getting their driver's license. I did it. I was just like, okay, now I can drive, whatever. Graduating high school, it's the same thing. It's just like, okay, now I have to go to college or go to work now, like start something new. So for me, it's just like life kind of passes by more, and that doesn't translate well, especially for like anniversaries, because for me, it's not such a monumental moment compared like if like my girlfriend at the time is so excited about like this of the anniversary, like 1 month in, 2 months in, 4 months in, you know what I mean? Yeah, I just don't get excited. I don't get excited as much. There are problems there, and for me, it's just very hard to communicate my thoughts and my feelings towards my girlfriend at the time. Like in most relationships, it kind of came down to like I just say it's like more so my fault because it's just me like struggling like for how I communicate. The other struggle I have is that I'm very socially inept, socially incompetent. It's because like most of the time, especially with people with autism, I'm very blunt and kind of straightforward. And I don't understand like going this runaround examples or like trying to have this prolonged explanation. Like I like to kind of have things very simplified and very direct because I feel like it's just kind of you get lost in the logic. So that doesn't translate well, especially like with like male to female dynamic. As the saying goes, girls kind of like to be lied to a bit when fall in love with what they hear. So kind of lying to kind of protect them or just kind of like validate their feelings in a way. It's a caring lie. I think people don't do that out of like malicious intent. I can see that. But for me, I just rather like say the truth. But that doesn't translate well because it feels like I'm being very emotionally detached, emotionally unaware. I'll say this, there's this term called emotional intelligence. So I have a higher IQ and I have a lower EQ. That's kind of the sacrifice of my autism. Like if I try very hard, then I'm like at most I gain like 10 IQ points, so around like 125 IQ. Like if I focus really hard. But when I'm like masking myself, that's another thing that I have to talk about. My IQ is like stands around like 195 and like 100, not 195. That's if I was at 195 IQ, like I would have been rich already. Like what are you talking about? Okay, another thing is it's gonna be hard for me to explain. Having such like a high mental capacity, and I also like my brain thinks very fast and a lot, so it kind of just fires out a lot, and I have to slow myself down so much, especially when I'm masking myself, which is me being unauthentic towards the person. It's really hard to gain a connection there. And the thing is, and when I'm having a conversation with like someone, it seems like I'm like changing the subject on the fly. So for me, when I have a conversation, it sounds like I'm like switching subjects like from one side to another side. The thing is, for me, how my mind works, like a particular conversation or a particular subject comes up in my head as like a mechanism. And a mechanism, if you don't know, like in philosophy, is like seeing it as like a machine. It kind of runs into it as like a system. But I do believe like particular subjects inside of that mechanism to make it work has its own mechanism. So divulging deeper into those subjects, like figuring out its mechanisms, it kind of is my way of thinking. So it's very hard for people to just keep up with me and keep up my way of thinking because I can just kind of figure it out very quickly, kind of like in a snap of my fingers each time. So it kind of just feels like to the other person I'm just changing the subject. So that's like a hard way for like me to like communicate. And then like masking myself, I had to kind of try to be not socially awkward, not socially inept. You know what I mean? I can't really show incompetence as much, and people don't think that I'm incompetent because if you don't know the halo effect or lookism, the thing is that I am like considered good looking or handsome. The proof of this is that one, my dad's assistant told him that I am handsome. Other thing is, some older women came up to me and said that I look good. Third one is that a grandma tried to give me her granddaughter's phone number, and like she was also underage, the granddaughter. So I'm like, that's the first thing I have to ask. Like, are they of age? And she wasn't. It's like that's wild. So it's kind of wild. Being good looking, it kind of puts you in the position of like, people would never think that you're socially inept or you're very stupid. or there's no bad trait associated with you, right? And that's pretty hard, right? Because a person told me that I was intelligent, that you seemed intelligent. Well, he was technically right, but I haven't said anything particularly like, mind blowing or just kind of like that would make you think. I haven't really said anything. I barely even said a word, even then, in the conversation itself. So he can't really like determine my intelligence at that point if I haven't really said anything worthwhile, right? So it really didn't make sense to me. And then like the girl that I'm on a date with, she would be like very surprised, very off put because like she would think that I'm very socially aware or like that I have like this charisma or something like that. Really, it's not. It's very hard for me. It's very hard for me, and I just kind of come off as unauthentic at that point if I were to try to be. It's definitely freaking hard, especially with like I never dated someone who's like neurodivergent, so I don't have that experience. And then social aspects, me being Hispanic, the stereotype like within the family, very social people, very like people like and they like to party, especially like Colombians, half Colombian, half Uruguayan. So it's like it's definitely like frowned upon if your son or your daughter is like neurodivergent and socially inept and isn't social. The thing is, I can be social, but I need my alone time. I do get easily overwhelmed in like very social settings, and if I'm not familiar with you, I really have a low trust of you. One-on-one conversations, if you're open to it, yeah, I can be open to it. But like anything like a people setting with multiple people I don't know, I do get very uncomfortable. There's definitely a feeling of frustration in that. It's kind of like, damn, you aren't really normal. You're not aren't really like participating with people, and it's not really like that. I do tend to take things a bit more personally than I should, but that is what it is. A part of it just feels like I'm divulging into my own madness. I definitely am like learning how to like cope with it, and like maybe I might just like try like hypnotizing my mind to have multiple personalities and just be identified as they them, not because like I'm non-binary, but
because we are literally two.
I'm literally multiple people in my head. That I should just do that. Have multiple personalities, and just like they're optimized for different situations. That might be a good idea. I think I said what I needed to say. I don't know if like there's gonna be a person that watches a video and could relate to me. Not particularly in like the looks department, or if that, just like my struggle itself of like mental disability. To a certain extent, right? There's people that definitely have it worse, right? And it's not impossible to get a date with this. Like I did it, other people will do it. It's possible. The only thing is that it's just a lower percentage for me to kind of just have a long-lasting relationship compared to someone who's like neurotypical, right? And that's the name of the game. It's like I think people are just like see it as this like if I have a statement to make, it's not that like it's a one and you're done. It's like 100% chance that I'm gonna fail or I'm gonna succeed, right? It's more so a percentage chance of either increasing it or minimizing it, right? And that's always been a thing, especially like with like people that just like are just against like my worldview or I'm against theirs. They just think like the worst possibility, or I'm saying the worst possible thing. But it's really not. It's just the thing is that everything is just based off percentages, and that's kind of like one mechanism of the world. It's just based off percentages. Yes, I'm considered good looking, but a woman could like find me less attractive because I'm not in her particular niche, right? And that's just like running the numbers. I may have a higher percentage of more women liking me, but there's always gonna be that percentage or that little variable of like a woman not liking my looks because I don't fit in her niche. And that's really just the message though. Everything is just percentage based. One thing I do want to talk about for like next video is about like the Odyssey, because I just watched Troy and stuff, so I'm hearing like the rumor of Elliot Page playing Achilles. So in a way, it's kind of like I'm excited for femboy Achilles, but I don't think that's gonna happen. I think that Elliot is gonna play Paris because Paris was also like portrayed as a femboy. It would make more sense that Elliot would be playing Paris since he's like a femboy. Like I have a video for that, and that's gonna be more so of the dynamics of the old movie compared to the new movie, and then and what I think of it. It's just interesting to see.